Everyone's got infinite amounts of potential. The belief determines how much of that we're going to tap into. So if we dive into a project, a business, relationship, or anything, and we say, but I'm not really sure if I can do this. Yeah, I'm not sure if I can. So we'll tap in, we'll take a little bit of potential. From there, we'll just take a little bit of action and we get a little bit of result. And the result will then reinforce the original belief. And we'll say, see, I told you that I couldn't do this.
And
then
the loop keeps going back on
itself.
itself.
Then you'll take a little bit less potential, a little bit less action, a little bit less results. See, I'm just shit. Now you stack decades on it, 40, 50, 60 years old. Say, well, how come, you're such a good manager? How come you never build your own business? Oh, I'm just not smart enough. Or I can't. And now I've got decades of evidence to prove it, which reinforces the belief more and more and more.
G'day legends, and welcome to another episode of the Interchange Podcast. Before we go any further, I do have a very small favour to ask, and that is if you've been enjoying the content, even just the slightest little bit, if you could please go and hit that subscribe button and share this with just one of your friends. Because as you know, the more eyes and ears we can get on these podcasts, the bigger and better guests I can bring for you guys, and in turn, the more value you're going to get. But over to today's episode. So today I'm joined by a man by the name of Morgan T. Nelson, who is a keynote presenter, an entrepreneur, a visionary, and someone that created financial freedom for himself at the age of 23. Now, Morgan didn't come from a crazy background of wealth, like a lot of people would probably imagine. No, he was a tradie for a very long time, and after deciding that he wanted more for his life, walked away from all that to create the life of his dreams, and he is now helping so many other people around the world to do the same for themselves. He's a great guy with an amazing story. I'll see you over on the episode.
Morgan, my brother, appreciate you coming out for a yarn on the Interchange Podcast, my man.
Mate, I'm fired up to be here and we'll see where we go.
Yeah, 100%, bro. Now, you've been a busy boy. You were just over in London, I believe, a couple of weeks ago.
Yeah, London, Dubai. Yeah, well, England, Dubai speaking at. So I went down to Brighton to speak at the IFS event, which is the #1 fitness event in the world.
Wow.
Which is pretty cool. I kind of underestimated what it actually kind of was. I thought there's going to be like a few hundred people or something. And then...
A couple of Jack guys getting around.
Yeah. Oh, not so much. There's more on the Gold Coast, really.
Yeah.
More the Jack people over here just on roids and whatever. But, getting over there was, I got the invite to go over and I thought I was going to be speaking on a panel or something. So I sort of went over on a limb, not knowing exactly what I was going to be doing. And then it was the day before, the promoter calls me. He's like, hey, when do you get in? I said, I'm here now. I'm heading down to Brighton tomorrow morning. He's like, cool. So you're going to be on main stage tomorrow, right after Stephen Bartlett and before Chris Williamson, and after James Smith. So the three biggest speakers the entire weekend was Stephen Bartlett, James Smith, Chris Williamson, and then little old me stuck in the middle there somewhere. And he's like, main stage, 1,500 people. Bring the energy because they're going to need it. I'm
like... No pressure.
Yeah.
No pressure.
I'm like, all right. So that was super fun though, like, amazing people, amazing speakers, promoters, organizers, crew, awesome time. So they've booked me for next year again. So
that's not bad, eh?
Yeah.
I'll be happy with that, man. And so you're doing a lot of speaking nowadays, but if I've heard in previous podcasts, you got told when you were going through school that you shouldn't do anything to do with English, maths, or science, pretty much, right?
Yeah, pretty much. So what happened in grade 10? They gave us this big book, and it's like you pick your career, right, moving forward. And so I'm like, I'm 15 years old in grade 10, right? 15 years old. And they're like, okay, time to get serious.
You need to know what you need to do now.
Yeah, like, what do you want to do for the rest of your life? And I'm like, man, I don't know. I just want to go play footy at lunch break with my mates. So I'm going to flick to the back of the book. What pays the most money? So go right to the back of the book. And down the bottom was mechanical engineer, $500,000 a year. So I was like, boom, that's what I want to do. And they said to me, Morgan, pick something else because you're not smart enough to become a mechanical engineer, because in order to study that at university, you need to study this in your grade 11 and 12. And currently your grades are not there to actually study that. So that's why I would pick our career in grade 10, because they were like, based off where your studies are, what do you want to do in 5 years? Because then we need to pick out what you need to study in grade 11, 12. So they go, you're not smart enough. So they ruled me out already at 15. They're like, you can't do that. So I go, okay, well, what's next? So I go down one, electrical engineer. And they're like, fuck, Morgan, this is what we're talking about. So I'm like, well, what should I do then? And then they say, well, okay, we recommend what you do and we recommend what you don't do. What we recommend you do is go do something where you can trade time for money. Go get into a trade, become a carpenter, a builder, a mechanic, or something like this, because that's what we recommend, we think you'll be good at. But what we recommend you don't do is anything in reading, writing, journalism, or speaking, because that's not your strong suit. Now I've trained probably like probably close to 100,000 people live or virtually around the world now, not including my podcast or content, like from a stage or from an event. I've written a couple of ebooks. I don't know if they count or not, but you know, they're now, I guess like it was challenging, but I'm going to start writing a legit book. I was thinking about it on the way here. Actually, now I'm really committed to it because after I was in England, I sat down with Chris Williamson's starting to write a book. Stephen Bartlett just wrote, another New York Times bestseller. And I sat down with my friend Simon Ong, who wrote Energize. It's like it's crushing it right now. It's been endorsed by Penguin, Simon Sinek, and all these people. And he just said to me, he's like, just fucking write it. It's like, all right. I was waiting. It was one of those things for me. I was like, when I have X amount of audience or emails or whatever, then I'll do it. Yeah. And he's like, just start. He's like, it'll take you a year anyway. And
man, I can really connect with that.
It's so
on my goal list right there. Right?
Yeah, so I'm like, I think in my head, and I was rationalizing. I was like, when I've got 20,000 emails or, across all my followers, maybe 250,000 followers, then I'll do a book. So I want to really launch it, which makes sense still. But there's nothing stopping me from like at what point am I going to start that? When I hit the followers, right? When I hit that, do I start now? It's like, no. So I'm going to start writing it now and chipping away the next sort of year and adding to it and making this amazing book. And then I'm going to suss out some publishers and stuff. I think I'm going to go down that route because of the branding move of going to the publisher. And I'll just write at the start of it that this is dedicated to all the teachers that told me that I'd never be able to write a book, speak on stage. So I went and did fucking all of it.
I love that, man. I love that. Now, thinking back to that, so when you were going through school, because this is something that came up a lot for me as well. Like at school, I was the class clown. I, used to fuck around with the classes. I wagged every maths class for I think a whole year. I was in the toilet playing my laptop, whatever we were doing at the time. And thinking back now, like same thing. Teachers are telling me you shouldn't do this, you shouldn't do that, and I'm doing exactly the opposite of what they told me I should be doing as well. Was that something that haunted you, I guess, and I guess started to shape your life from a young age?
No, I really don't think so. Like, and I don't blame the teachers either, because if I was a teacher looking at a 15-year-old, you see their potential, and if I could see somebody like me at 15 being a little spastic and not wanting to focus and all these things, I would also, now knowing what I know. So I said this to my brother the other day. My brother said, we caught up, his kid, Ollie must be 7 or 8, young, and he's just been diagnosed with ADHD, right? And they're like, put on medication. I said, why? He's like, he's so like, are you one of those anti people? I said, well, yeah, don't come at me, but I would bet my bank account that if I got tested, I'd blow the fucking scale to pieces. I'm spastic, but
as far as it goes, right?
But and I said to him, but isn't it fantastic though that he's ADHD, because he's going to be a fantastic entrepreneur? Because nearly every single entrepreneur I know has some level of ADHD. We have this innate ability to focus on 100,000 things at once and have all this energy, hyper focus, and like I'm a beast at like right now. So I'm thinking about writing this book. I'm also thinking about mastering email campaign. I'm also the CMO, and everything of all my companies. And I'm also thinking about going balls deep and building a YouTube channel, which a lot of other people just go, I just got to do one of them. Like, no, I'm gonna fucking do all of them. I'm gonna do them well. So I have it as my superpower for sure. So if I saw 15-year-old kid acting like that, I would see their potential and be like, he has so much energy and so much focus. The problem is he's just not focused on the things that he enjoys.
Yeah, we're going to channel it, right?
Right. And all it is I was listening to Dan DePenny. I don't know if you heard Dan DePenny. He's like a monk. Okay. He's a G. And one thing he teaches, his main thing he teaches is how to focus. And he's saying one time, he's like, a lot of people talk about, if people aren't focusing, they put on medication or they label them with ADHD or this or that. But did you ever take a class on how to focus? So it makes so much sense. Yeah. We have all these things out in the world that just aid us to not focus and be distracted. Yeah. But never has anyone sat you down and said, here's how to channel your energy. Here's how to actually focus. So I haven't actually done his course. I probably should, because I've just forgot. Right? That's the funny thing. But so he talks about that. So I'm not mad at the teachers. I'm not like I didn't think I had a chip on my shoulder against them or anything like that, because I didn't know anything different. I never looked at it as like, well, you don't believe in me. I looked at it legitimately as like, these guys are advising me and I'm looking at them for like guidance. So, well, fuck, if you think I can't do that and I should do that, then maybe we'll do it. Where I think it really started to kick in was because I committed to that. I was like, I don't want to. I saw it as like a blessing. I was like, oh, thank fuck, because I don't want to study hard. I don't want to do these
Hard work?
Because they told me physics, maths, what is it, B and C, I think were the hard ones.
Yeah.
You gotta do maths B and C, the hard English, physics, all this shit next year. I said, sounds horrible, because my plans for 11 and 12 is picking up more girls and going to more parties, playing more footy with the boys.
Isn't that what we did?
That's my goals, right?
Yeah, man.
So, but when we left school, we all got the OP. I don't know if did you go to school here or?
Yeah, I didn't finish with an OP.
Right,
I
okay.
dropped out year 11.
You're right. So the people who didn't go to school here in Queensland, right? So you get the OP, the overall position score, and essentially it's 1 to 25. 25 is the worst, 1's the best, and determines what you can study, aka how successful you'll be in life. And when I finished, I got a 21, and heaps of people around me. So 21, like pretty much anything over like a 16, like you're fucked. Right?
Yeah,
like you know, right? And then everyone else around me started getting their scores, and everyone was sharing them on Facebook and calling each other up and like, what did you get? This is what I got. And I remember some people around me laughing at me, going like, you're fucked. And it didn't really hit until then. And I was like, And I still didn't know what I wanted to do still. I was like, I don't know what I want to do, but I know what I don't want to do, and that's go to university.
Yeah.
Like everyone else around
I
me.
to do a 9 to 5.
Yeah, like everyone else around me was going to university, doing something that they weren't even absolutely sold on themselves. They were doing it because they thought they should. And I saw that from an early age. I was like, that's fucked. You're not even certain on it. You're not passionate about it. You're not excited about it. You're doing it only because you think you should, because your parents want you to, your principals want you to, and the score says you'd be a good candidate. But have you ever actually checked in to be like, what inspires you and what do you actually want to do?
So you're thinking from a young age.
Yeah.
Wow.
And the only thing I wanted to do was travel and have fun. So I was like, but what's the problem with that? So that's what I did. I got a job that paid me money so I can go and travel and have fun. Traveled Europe, had some fun, came back. And this thing with traveling, every time I traveled, I'd have like an idea and take my life a bit more seriously when I came back. And that's when I got my apprenticeship as a carpenter, because I was like, how can I create a good career in life where I enjoy my life, but actually make enough money to do a travel like this once a year? So it's like, I'll become a tradie.
Yeah.
You know, so that's kind of... So it wasn't like a whole thing to the teachers. I didn't really know much about it, to be honest. It got more once I got into personal development and I started to actually understand, because now one of the most important things to me is learning, which is funny.
Yeah.
In school, I hated it. But what the problem was, I wasn't inspired to learn about the things they were shoving down my throat. I didn't care about To Kill a Mockingbird. I didn't care about fucking all these things. But funny enough, I am obsessed with I'm obsessed with science and physics and quantum physics now. I'm obsessed with psychology, history, all these types of things. Why? Because if you study history, you study psychology, you study quantum physics and physics, they're skill sets that you can actually create a pretty incredible quality life.
Yeah.
You study the past, you can predict the future.
And they're applicable.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So that was the problem. I just wasn't inspired by them. I just wasn't interested in them. And so that was really the thing. And now what I know about human behavior is, and it sounds like it's the same with you, what happens is we all have a certain threshold, call it your comfort zone. And whenever we operate inside of our comfort zone or our stress threshold, we're super happy. And we're chill and we're good and we can focus and we can be a good boy and a good girl or whatever. But as soon as we hit the threshold, we go past and we'll bring out one of our self-defeating behaviors. So there's about 12, don't ask me to name them all, can't remember them all right now. But we teach all this at our advanced leadership program, but I teach it in a way where people see it unfold, where they see how it comes out in them and they're like, fuck. And they see it.
It's a little light bulb moment, right?
Yeah, because they see how they show up under a little bit of stress, a little bit of pressure. So call it your own comfort zone. Call it, when you're overwhelmed. Call it when you're just stressed. Whenever that happens, we will act out one of our self-defeating behaviors. My primary one is the joker. So whenever I'm actually, and this played out when COVID hit.
Yeah.
Because COVID was happening and the world's fucking going mental. And I'm thinking, are we even going to be here in a month? Is the world, what's going on? Yeah. And I was just a prankster. I'm pranking friends about the whole matter. I'm just having fun. I'm like, this is hilarious. And then knowing what I knew about it all, I was like, isn't this funny because my behavior's coming out? Yeah. Because obviously under the surface, I'm a little bit like...
There's stress coming up.
I'm like, what the fuck's actually going on here? Yeah. And how I coped with it is through humor. How other people cope with it is being the victim, being aggressive, being it's all about me. Some people will do things like, we'll call them the diva. So some people be like, it's all about me, like me, like a whole narcissistic sort of thing.
Yeah.
And they don't mean to be an arsehole, but they only do it when they're doing it to cope with what's actually happening under the surface. Because on every single report card I had, it said, Morgan's got a lot of potential and he can really amount to a lot. But he's always getting distracted. He's been the class clown and he's continually getting kicked out of class. Because what would happen was they would teach shit. And I go, I don't understand it. I don't like it. Oi, what are you fucking doing? And I'd start just distracting people because that was how I'd cope with the fact I didn't know how to digest the information.
Right.
So no, that's why I'm a trainer and I be able to watch people. I watch the way they're consuming information and watch how they're taking it in and watch what's happening to their nervous system. Because think about this. Don't you have a gym background? You have PT or something?
Yeah, bro, I got a gym downstairs.
Right. So imagine this, right? I haven't trained in the last month. So I went to the gym this morning. I was weak as fuck. And I just did a nice chill leg workout because I know if I go hard, I'm going to be destroyed. Imagine if I called you up and I was like, hey, let's do a leg session today. And you're like, yeah, bro. And you load me up the same as what you lift. I'm going to be like, I'm going to hit my threshold straight away and it's not going to be good for me.
Yeah.
That's the exact same as what it is in this manner.
Yeah.
So you'd never expect me to be able to lift that. But if you can only see things from your point of view and be like, well, I can, so can't you?
Right.
And we speak to people like that and we teach people like that, then it doesn't make sense.
Well, it's the same as stress. Everyone's got a different threshold. Right?
Everyone's got a different threshold. We need to learn where people are at and when they're hitting theirs. And then, so that's why I think I was a mess in school. And I think a lot of people are. It's because a lot of teachers, they haven't been taught how to actually train. They've just been taught how to read things from textbooks and repeat information. Nothing against them. It's against the way they've, like, I really think if the average teacher went through my training program, they'd become, right? Because I teach these things because it's so much to do. So, like I said, nothing against the teachers, nothing like that. I think it's just
like the schooling system itself and how it's delivered, right?
Yeah.
Because I guess with schooling, it's it's a broad. It's not individualized, and like you said, everyone learns differently. Everyone has different levels of, thresholds for stress. So if you're trying to teach everyone the same thing, of course you're going to have an adverse reaction when someone's like, fuck this. There
was a meme I saw once, and it's like a judge sitting here, and it said, okay, guys, we're all going to judge you now on your ability to climb that tree. And in front of the judge was an elephant, a monkey, and a goldfish.
Got this, yeah.
And it's like, okay, guys, go climb the tree, and we'll score you accordingly.
Yeah.
So the elephant, I don't know what you give the elephant. Oh, lazy, didn't even try, just use his trunk. The monkey,
the tree.
Yeah, right. The monkey, A plus, incredible effort. Really get an amount to much. Goldfish, doesn't even try, gives up before it even tries. You know what I mean? So that's the problem with life. That's the problem with the education system. Here's one test, guys, and we're going to score every single one of you the exact same way. It doesn't work like that. But I'm not complaining. I guess that's why I just like teaching entrepreneurs, because it's a similar theme we see across the board where people like, I wasn't great in school, didn't get it, then I fell into entrepreneurship because I just want to do shit my way, and then I really amounted to it.
Yeah,
there's
a little bit of defiance there, right?
Yeah.
It's like, I don't want to listen to that. I want to do it my way.
Yeah, I think like human beings we have absolute infinite potential.
Yeah.
Period.
Yeah.
And I think every single one of us has the same amount of potential. The only difference is the person who creates an absolute extraordinary things like the Elon Musks or Olympic gold medalists, and the person who does nothing with their life comes primarily down to the belief they have about themselves in tapping into the potential that is possible.
Yeah.
So a lot of people won't actually believe that they can amount to things, comes from the stacking of childhood things or telling them that they can't. And other people just think, well, shit, I'm just going to go for it. And what happens is they create a feedback loop. So everyone's got infinite amounts of potential. The belief determines how much of that we're going to tap into. So if we dive into a project, a business, relationship, or anything, and we say, but I'm not really sure if I can do this. Yeah, I'm not sure if I can. So we'll tap in, we'll take a little bit of potential. For now, we'll just take a little bit of action and we get a little bit of result. And the result will then reinforce the original belief. And we'll say, see, I told you that I couldn't do this.
And then the loop keeps going back on
Yeah,
itself.
then you'll take a little bit less potential, a little bit less action, a little bit less results. See, I'm just shit. Now you stack decades on it, 40, 50, 60 years old. Say, well, how come, you're such a good manager? How come you never build your own business? Oh, I'm just not smart enough. Or I can't. And now I've got decades of evidence to prove it, which reinforces the belief more and more and more. But at any time we can snap that and actually change that and actually make the decision from the primary belief and just go, well, what if I could? Like what? I really do believe that I can. I can, because everyone else does it. This is also where the environment plays the biggest part. Huge thing I teach, right? Is the environment is the biggest thing that really alters it, because we'll actually pick up a collective belief of what our environment believes. If we saw it even here through in COVID, the Gold Coast here just had a collective belief, like, I don't care about lockdown.
Legit.
It just happened, right? Like on the Gold Coast.
You've seen it in your life as well. Like for me, when I was younger, it was like the partying. Okay, like no one else does anything other than party every weekend.
Yeah.
And when I stopped drinking and taking drugs, it was like, is there anyone else that does this? And I found there was run clubs and all sorts of stuff on the Gold Coast happening.
Because then your brain will actually start to pick up more opportunities.
Yeah, that's
You
right.
become aware of things. But that's why like hacking the results in your life is just all about getting into the right environment. Because if we can just collectively get a different belief from the start that perhaps it is possible. I never forget the first time I met a millionaire and they were in their 20s and I was like, wow. Not like, so you haven't got rich from passed down money and you didn't win the lottery. So you're telling me that it is possible for someone in their 20s to make $1 million just if you learn the skills?
So prior to that, you had a belief that it had to happen by money getting passed down or winning the lottery, like you said. And I feel like I was similar as well because I didn't see it in my environment.
Yeah, I was like, either like, it's, you become a millionaire of passing down through the family or something like this, or you win the lottery. Because I think we grew up with my parents always, especially my pop, always getting a lottery ticket. When we get rich. And I thought that was the only way. It's like, fuck, if this happens, awesome, But when I changed my environment, I changed the belief that perhaps it's possible for me. I tapped into more potential, did more. And every single time I got good results, it reinforced that shit. I'm getting better than what I was before. Maybe it can happen. And then people ask now, and that's why you hear the story of the 10-year overnight success of multiple people, because it's like, and I really feel like I know the next 18 months or 2 years is going to be explosive for me. And people are going to be like, oh my God, it just happened overnight.
It's like the grind.
It's like I've been crushing shit for the last 8 years, stacking it in the compound effect, but it's massively comes down to the belief I have within myself of what I can actually do as well. So I'm collecting more evidence to show that I'm capable of more than what I thought I was.
And even when you were younger, so there was a point in your life where you went into the trade and working with your hands, right? So at what point there in your story was it like, okay, I am better than this. I can do more. Like, this is not serving me.
When I try to kill myself, probably.
Okay.
So 19 years old, we're using drugs to wake up every day, drugs to go to sleep at night, drinking every single day. They're definitely like...
What drugs?
Well, Coke.
Yeah,
a lot of Coke. And then just prescription pills. What were they? Just the ones that... We lived with like some old dude who had massive injuries. He fell off a roof, some shit. So he got these hectic... I really forget what they were. Penadine? Something like this. They're like huge, just downers, like numb everything. You take a few of them, it's like done, right? So every single day was like this cocktail of, Coke, and then you'd be so buzzed in the afternoon, then you take prescription pills to mellow it out, and then 10-pack of Jimmy as well. And then it's just this whole sort of thing. And then the next day you're so just like drugged up still. It's like, shit, I need another bump of Coke to get going, right? And it was just this cycle. But couple that with really low self-esteem, low self-worth.
And this is all probably from getting told you're never going to be more than this, right? And the environment you were in when you were younger, sorry.
You know what? I think it had more to do with the environment I was in after school.
Okay.
Because in school it was pretty positive, man. Like a lot of my friends were in the health, we're in fitness. We're just in there having fun. Let's go to a party on the weekend. Like we'll get drunk if we want, but let's be sober. Let's try to pick up a girl, and we'd get into a lot of fights because we're all. I was a Muay Thai fighter. My mates were extremely good fighters. So we definitely developed a reputation of, be on their good side.
Sort of alpha male. Yeah.
It wasn't really. It was sort of just like, just don't fuck with them because you just get annihilated. Like we were good, we were chill, we were never exciting things, but you get a whole bunch of 17-year-olds in a house together, house party on the weekend, and there's gonna be a fight, and you go out with 20 of the boys, and probably one of your boys started it, and then now you're all in it, and that was definitely the environment. But it's as bad as that sounds, that wasn't really a negative environment. Like it was a pretty like real good. It was what happened after school. It was the carpentry lifestyle. It was going and working in Mackay and being around all these older people that were just depressed. They had a whole decade more than me of depression and drinking and doing things that were uninspiring for them and all this shit,
Stuck in that negative loop.
And so it didn't take too long before I started to be like that. but the biggest thing I was saying to my partner, like literally yesterday, because you know when you share stories and you think of things and more comes back to you.
Yeah.
The boss I was working for, my first carpentry boss, was an absolute narcissist. Like, he had so much of his own shit going on, but he was on drugs all the time. He would go and just go on speed for like days at a time, so he'd be even more cooked. And his come downs were just like would cop it all, and and then he was a boxer as well, so he was a tough guy, like psycho, like really nice guy, but could flip. And if you went on his side, just absolutely manipulative. So what he would do is just crushed. I say it in such a victim mentality. I allowed my self-esteem to get crushed so much where I was absolutely immobilized by him, to the point where he'd even control what I did on the job site. Then when we got home, because we all lived together at the place up in Mackay, he would say things like, "You're not allowed to bring girls over here." And I was 18. It's the only fucking thing I wanted to do. Dude, I work.
Lads.
Yeah, I work 12 hours a day for you, man. Like, fuck, when I get home, I'm on Tinder. I'm trying to find shit. You know, and just, I was doing online dating before it was cool as well. So we were on things like Plenty of Fish and shit. And I was like trying to find, like, I'm 18. I'm like, the only thing, like, all my boys are at home right now, going out clubbing, and I'm up here, this piece of shit. Like, the least I can do is try and get a date for tonight, you know?
Yeah.
Have someone come watch a movie with, and
some cuddles.
Yeah, and so all those things, just so the control. So my whole world was controlled, and I was just had to do as I was told, sort of thing, and my self-esteem was crushed. And mixed it all up. 19 years old, it just got so bad where I thought, the pain was so bad where I thought it'd be more painful to leave than it would be to stay here. And then it was about a 2 to 3 week period after that, where I attempted again, actually.
Yeah.
And then I woke up, because I felt like I hit my fucking head on the table. And
did you just try and take too many pills? Or?
Yeah. And then I just sort of started to come back to it. And it's almost, I very rarely share this story, actually. I have a tattoo on my arm here. It says, "Even when I'm falling, I'm flying."
Yeah.
Because I was extremely optimistic and positive for all this. So I had this huge like identity conflict in the time where I was like, here's what I'm trying to do. And on the surface, Morgan, like, are you falling or flying? I was literally having a conversation. Are you falling or flying? Like, and before I knew about being a victim or whatever, it was like having that conversation with myself. Things are bad right now. I get it. But is this the best option? Are you looking at it being like, oh, I'm going to try to take myself out of this? Or are you going to look at the positive side of this and be like, how good is this? This has happened now in your life. What can you learn from this? And get the fuck out of here.
Yeah, bro.
And it was that conversation. And the first thing that came to me was, well, what do I do about it? And the first thing that came was change your environment. And that's why my whole book was going to be the Dream Out Loud method. The first pillar is the environment. We need 4 pillars to create our dream life. Yeah. So the environment. So the first thing I did was, okay, I mentally said, I'm going to quit this job. I just don't know how to tell my boss because he's a psycho. It was literally like trying to leave an abusive relationship. It was literally, yeah. But I remember all I did was I started working out and eating fruit.
Doing the health stuff, right?
Yeah. I was like, so my body, if we listen to our body, we know all the answers.
Yeah.
Like, we know all the answers. Like, this is why when I'll coach people, I won't tell them what to do. I'll just ask them questions because you already know everything.
Exactly right.
Right? And so I started to eat fruit because I was like, I got to eat healthy shit.
Yeah. What were you eating prior to this?
Oh, just anything, like,
sausage rolls,
just all the tradie shit. Like, we had no money. Like, on top of that, I was making $7.50 an hour on an ABN.
How good's a, apprenticeship rate?
Right, so the only money we had was, buy more drugs, get drinks, and get a flight home every 3 weeks. Yeah. Just, so I can't remember what I was eating. Nothing good though, nothing nutritious at all. Started exercising, eating good food again, and that just, now what I know, exercise releases endorphins, and we've got everything within to actually make us feel good. Quit my job, went down to the Gold Coast, and started to kind of figure this out. But I think it all. This question you asked was, when did it start? It was that moment when I decided to make the decision that nothing would ever be more important than my own happiness again. Yep. So then from there, I started making decisions. So if the overall goal here now is for me to be happy and actually enjoy my life, which I think everybody should do.
Yes.
We should all have the mission to be like, if you wake up and look yourself, who said, Steve Jobs or someone said, like, if you wake up and look yourself in the mirror and ask yourself, and what I'm about to do today, am I really excited and happy about? If the answer is no for too many days in a row, then you should change that.
Yeah, 100%.
But a lot of people never do an inventory check. And I think that was the first of me doing it, where I was like, you know what? I don't have to do this. I was like, what do you mean I don't? What if I didn't do this? What would I do? And I started a lawn mowing business. I was like, I'm going to do fucking anything other than this.
Yeah.
And I just went down and started making my money and try to figure it all out. It was a couple of years still. Like I didn't really start getting a little bit onto any track until I was maybe 21.
Yeah.
When I first started my other business.
Yeah. Okay. So in the other business, that was in isogenics, right?
Yeah, I started building a network marketing business. I had no idea what it was. But what I did when I left, so 19 to 21, I was like, I need to get around people that are happy.
Yeah.
I was like, how can I
change
get
the environment, get the right people around you.
Yeah. So started hanging around people that were more successful than me, that were happy, that actually done things on their weekends, and and then my friend introduced me to network marketing. He's like, dude, I'm doing this thing. I made like $1,000 this week, part-time. I'm like, dude, I'm a broke apprentice. Show me what you're doing.
Show me the way.
Yeah, check. Yeah, that'd be the OnlyFans today though, right? Yeah, I'd be like, fuck, I'm in. I'm glad. Yeah. And I went along, I checked it all out, and I judged it. I thought it was a cult and all this stuff. And I remember him saying to me, he's like, just come check it out because you're broke. Remember that. I'm like, all right. But then that was the first millionaire I met.
Yeah.
I met someone who made over $1 million, and he was like 27 or something, 26, 27. He just got back from traveling to America and impacting and all these types of things. And my paradigm just got shifted where I was like, what have I walked into? And that was really the start of a lot of things. Started personal development, started actually understanding that I can change my own philosophy.
Yeah, that's where personal development started for you, at age 21. Yeah.
Yeah. Reese, my mate, handed me Jim Rohn CD. I'd listen to that every single morning on my drive to work. Yeah. And it was like 52-minute CD. I'd drive to work for 56 minutes. Yeah. Or no, the other way around. So I'd park at work and listen to the last 4 minutes every day.
Yeah, started feeding yourself more positive
things. And I think I did that for about 90 days straight. There and back every day. Exact same thing. Boom. Just ingraining it into my soul. So much to the point like I can do like a Jim Rohn voice, right? But like just...
Go on.
Right, what are some things Jim Rohn says? Don't wish it were easier. Wish you were better. Right? It's not the blowing of the wind. Right? These things. It's not the blowing of the wind that determines your destination. It's the set of your sail. Like, so fuck. True. Like just these things, like, that's so true. So I thought the wind was blowing, and here I am just I thought the wind blew differently for this person.
Yeah.
And for so long I was just a victim. I was like, fuck, you're telling me that I can change my sails and it'll change where I'm going in life. I was like,
yeah.
And then, some of the 5 people you surround yourself with. The sower and the reaper was a good one for me. Like talking about, the story of sowing and reaping and just the ambitious sower, he calls it. He's like, so the farming sower, he's like, so some days you wake up and you'll drop seeds on rocky ground and the seeds won't do anything.
Yeah.
Some days you'll drop seeds on shallow ground and it will grow a little bit and then it will die. Some days you'll go, you're just sowing and you're just sowing your seeds. And the point of it is like, you just want to become the ambitious sower where you're not addicted to the trees growing. You're addicted to just planting the next seed.
Yeah.
And eventually the seed will fall on good soil and it will grow into this massive tree.
It's all just about that consistency, right?
Yeah, but all these things, I was like, this is really good stuff. Like if someone sat me down at 15 and said, hey man, I know it doesn't feel like it's working for you right now, but it's okay.
Yeah.
It's okay. And what do you want in life? When you're 25, what do you want? Not a career. What result do you want? That's why I say to people, let's start with the end in mind. What result do you want? What's the result? Like, what's the lifestyle? And people are like, oh, I want to have this job. I'm not talking about jobs. What's the lifestyle? And then they started saying things, well, I want to be able to wake up and have this and blah, blah, blah. Cool. So what results do you need in your life in order to get that lifestyle? Because now you go, cool, I need to make this much money per year.
Yeah.
I need to be this body fat. I need a wife or a partner or whatever.
Yeah.
Great. Now we know the target. Cool.
Yeah.
Now let's reverse engineer it one more time. What are the action steps you need to take between now and the next 10 years to give yourself a fighting chance? But the problem is that's where a lot of people get stuck. Because they'll say, I got my vision board, which you got a vision board, right?
Big picture, but they don't know how to start taking that first step.
But no, it's not that. They'll create the lifestyle. I got my vision. Cool, that's what I want. Then I go, here's my goals. I need to set to get it. And here's the action. I can take a lot of action. And then what happens is people fuck it up. They'll self-sabotage. They'll procrastinate. They'll self-doubt. or they'll eventually get something and they'll feel unfulfilled. These are the biggest things I've been able to pull apart.
Yeah. And this is all back to the beliefs, right?
Well, it comes back down to the philosophy that drives the action.
Okay.
So all our internal dialogue, our philosophies, the things that we live by. So, if we've got a philosophy that all rich people are bad, or if I make a lot of money, then my parents won't love me. Yeah. But my goal is to make a lot of money, and I take the action.
Contradicting each other, right?
Yeah, I'll take a little bit because consciously I want it. Unconsciously I don't. Yeah. Then we have a conscious and unconscious, and they're out of rapport. They fight against each other. And I'll tell you what will win every single time. Subconscious mind. But the most annoying thing is you'll lose and you won't know why.
Yeah.
It's so annoying. This is why I've created everything we do. Because like the 4 pillars, like I really believe when people haven't hit, so we're at right environment, vehicle, timing, and you, if one of them is not totally integrated, which we've got 3 levels of learning. We can know information, understand information, or embody information. The average professor just understands it. That's why you go to a Harvard Business School and you have a professor teaching business. Makes no fucking sense. Yeah. Because if they were so good at business, they probably wouldn't be there teaching. They'd have a big empire. Yeah. Right? So they just understand it. So the last one is the embodiment of it. But when we embody these, we will no longer have procrastination, self-doubt, self-sabotaging around fulfillment. And I will say quite proudly that I do not suffer from them. There's never a moment where I'm procrastinate. If I'm doing if I ever procrastinate, it's a very conscious procrastinate. I'm like, oh,
aware of it?
Yeah. It's like with the email marketing, mate. Like I don't want to fucking do email marketing.
Outsource.
Yeah, but I have been outsourcing, right?
Yeah.
And I'm like, I'm gonna change it because I think people on my email list deserve an email from me.
Yeah. Cool.
But I don't really want to do that. But how I beat the procrastination is tied into the bigger overall thing that is important for me.
Okay, yeah.
So sometimes I will still battle with going, I really don't want to do this, and I'll find myself doing other things. But then I'm like, well, it's only because there's under the umbrella of building a business, there's lots of things you do have to do that might not be that enjoyable right now, but they'll get you to the thing that is enjoyable. So I'll do it now. So yeah.
Cool, man. So you're doing a lot of events. You're a pretty busy guy. What's the next big event you have coming up for yourself?
We've got an event next weekend. Yeah. 3-day event, Mind and Money.
Yeah, and that's around like money relationship.
Yeah, everything actually. So Lloyd, Lloyd who spoke at Dreamfest.
Yeah.
So Lloyd is a business partner of mine, multi-millionaire, self-made millionaire in his early 30s. He's built a couple multiple 7-figure businesses as well, but also like investment portfolios. That's his big thing. And so one day we got together because I have an events company, the Dream Out Loud Institute, and we literally teach the skill set and the mindset that you need to create the best life. That's it. I do it through programs because I love to train. And what I noticed was a lot of people would come there and, they would buy our events and they'd want to work with us and they'd be like, I've got no money, here's $50 deposit. And I'd give tickets away for free and stuff. I'd be like, just fucking come. Like, I don't need $50. Like, just come. And then I'd be like, man, we need a program that teaches people money. Like just some shit that teaches people how to literally manage money effectively, multiply money, make more of it, and set them up for a proper financial plan in the future. Not financial advice. Teach them how to think for themselves and teach them the ways that millionaires do it, because I've obviously got access to some of the most, incredible people in the world. I've been on an interview, and same with Lloyd. So Lloyd comes in and teaches everything money. He's like, principles of money, how to multiply, how to manage it, relationships, money, and I come and do all the mindset with money. I unpack all the weeds. Like, what were the habits you learned from your mum and dad growing up? What did you?
That's a big thing, right? It's
huge.
Like the shit that comes back generational.
Huge. Like, and if there's any negative emotion attached to money, you'll never make a lot of it.
Yes.
So sometimes people use the pain to go, I need to prove myself. I'm going to show that person I'm going to make a lot of money. You'll probably succeed, but it'll come down very fast eventually.
Yeah, what happens when you hit that glass ceiling, right?
Yeah. So if there's any sort of underlying or even just like money's energy, everything's energy. Yeah, so if we've got unresolved trauma to, our mom, especially our father, because our father's line energetically is our success line. So if we've got unresolved things or any sort of conflict there, then it'll always show up somehow and play a role in our financial and our success. And if people have some type of thing, like I had for a while, I think a lot of dudes do, where it's like some sort of thing to need to make your father proud. like
trying to prove yourself, get that validation, right?
Yeah. So if these are the drivers, then not only is it going to be extremely exhausting, but it just probably won't happen for you. So we want to strip that back so wealth can be so easy and effortless to create. So we'll peel back all the things like, what are the limiting beliefs around money? What do you believe to be true about wealthy people? And a lot of people just have all these unconscious programs because they've picked it up from their growing up, their parents, like, and we've got attachment styles, we've got archetypes, like, so we've got 4 different money archetypes. The first one is the spender, which is me. I love to spend money. If you find me at a bar, I'll get everyone around, right?
We're going for a drink after this.
Yeah, right. and then the next one is the hoarder, right? So it's funny, it's my partner. So, and if you look at this, so she grew up in Eastern Europe where she didn't really have a lot of money growing up. So now she's grown up and she's made some good money herself. She keeps it. It's like, and
my mom.
Yeah, right. And it's, these things are primarily built around some type of money trauma.
Yeah.
So, a lot of people that are hoarders obviously witnessed growing up, chances are, money was quite scarce. So when I get it, I'm going to keep it.
It's hard to come by.
Right? But scarce money don't make money.
Yeah.
Because I have this attachment to money. The good thing with being a spender, I make money and I go, what can I do with it?
Yeah.
Boom, marketing campaign, another staff, get this. Let's deploy the money. I'm going to deploy because every time I deploy money, it comes back with friends.
Yeah.
Yeah, it not only comes back, it'll bring some friends back.
Yeah.
So then I'm like, cool. And through healing my relationship with money, like one of the things we'll take people through is literally like one of the most transformational processes I do to heal a relationship, period. But I replace it with money.
Yeah.
So when they literally heal, like I can't give it all away, but it's like we take them on a date with money. And the breakthroughs people get, because when you shift your perspective and you speak to yourself as if you're money, it just has this thing by saying, like, it tells you all the things it wants to say. And one thing money said to me one time was, fucking use me. Like, I'm here, like, use me, because I've tried to stop being a spender, right? So I've tried to manage it. So I'm like, I don't want to blow it all. But then and sometimes even so, I look at my bank account and it feels like it's dusty. It feels like it's sitting on a dust shelf, like it's stuck in cash. So sometimes I look at it, I'm like, they just feel stagnant. So I'm always, I want to deploy it. I want to put it to use. I want to get it out there, within reason. And the next one is the avoider. This person doesn't know where their mailbox is. They don't know how to check their bills. They don't know what their credit card statement is. They don't know how much money is. They tap their card and hope it passes. They're like,
the old look away. Yeah.
They do that. Oh, yes, got money. This is really bad because the chance of them creating financial success is slim because they got no fucking idea where their money is.
Yeah.
And the last one's the money monk. This person has, I always joke, it's more the spiritual person where they're like, I'm just going to give it all away. I don't need it. But the problem is they feel shameful to have it. Yeah. So they don't want to have it. Yeah. But they'll mask it by being like, I'm just going to give it out because this person needs it more than me. True. Maybe they do. But you can't give from an empty cup. So the idea, and the idea is to not be any one of these archetypes, but to be a blend.
Yeah, okay.
Right, because I have an account.
Elements of it all through your life.
I have an account set up to purposely give money away.
Yeah.
It's literally just called Give.
Yeah.
Money goes in there. So when I landed in England, I had a lady come up to me on the street, and I don't know how real it was. I'm really good at reading body language, so I was like, I think she's pretty real, pretty legit. And she was crying and saying all these things like she's, they got kicked out of her house, domestic violence, blah, blah, blah. She's with her kid and they're staying in a hostel and just pretty much asking for money. Do you have money? I said, I don't have any money on me. He was like, oh. And I saw an ATM. I was like, well, let me just go to the ATM. And I went and got £150 out. It's like $300.
Yeah, bro.
And I was like, here you go. So I was like, I'm going to really give it. And then she like almost fell over. But I was like, it's cool. Like the money's there to blow. Like it's to give away. So if I don't give it to you, who am I giving it?
Give account, right?
Yeah, it's out the give account. So I was like, oh, I've got money to give. So, and I do, and I like that. It's great. And that's the first time I've told anyone about that as well. Yeah. Like, so I do a lot about, this is not to put it out there. It's just to actually do and serve.
Well, I think that Tony Robbins speaks about that best. One of our highest human needs is contribution. And that's why a lot of people feel stuck because they're just so focused on what they can get rather than what they can give. Yeah,
the key to living is giving. Like every single time I'm in a shitty state, I'll give money away. I've shared this story, right? When I was in Turkey, and I was in such a pissed off mood because everything was going wrong.
Taxi story?
Yeah, fucking taxi and traffic, and I just want to go to a fucking dinner, and I'm like, fuck me, And then I was like, whatever reason is, the universe doesn't want me to do what I want to do tonight, and I'm like, fuck it. So I get out of the taxi. Now I'm an hour out of the city center because it's long story short, taxi drove me all the way around. Yeah. got out, and I was having such a shit time, and I'm like, you know what? I'm gonna go get money out from the ATM, and I'm gonna give out as much. I'm gonna give all the money away on my walk home. So I walked all the way home. It was like an hour and 45 minutes. Ate my way through the city that night, and just gave money to people on the street, buskers, homeless people, over tipped at restaurants, and I was so happy by the time I got home.
Yeah.
It's like fuck.
Yeah.
So it's a big thing.
And man, so you've been on a bit of a journey. It hasn't been easy by any means, but for someone that might be, I guess, sitting in your shoes at age 19, between 17 and 19, really struggling with direction and I guess what to do, what would be a piece of advice you give them to, I guess, really start to pave their path the way they want to?
First one, the number one reason people don't achieve the things they want is because they don't know what they want.
Yeah, getting clear on it, right?
Main reason people don't do what they want is because they don't know what they want. So step one would be to actually just create a big, bold, beautiful vision of the life that they want. Get really clear, like this is actually what I want to create. That'd be step one. Step two would be to actually make the decision. Part of the right timing, right? So the right environment, vehicle timing you. Part of the right environment is to make the decision. So you go see what you want, create the vision, see what it is you actually want. Have to have the belief that it's attainable. That it is attainable. If you don't believe that you can do it yet, that's okay. You just have to believe that it is possible. Because I believe that I can build a rocket ship, right? So I believe that a rocket ship is possible to build. Correction.
Yeah.
I believe a rocket ship is possible to build. Do I believe I can build one now? No. But if it's important enough to me, I believe that I can learn the skill set and the mindset required to build a rocket ship. I believe that.
Yeah.
So you don't have to believe that you can do it. You have to believe that it's attainable.
It's something that's actually achievable.
That
it's
realistic. That it's possible
Yeah.
for anyone to do. And then have to believe that if it's important enough to you, you can learn the skills required to get it. Because I believe that is possible.
Yeah.
You can do anything in this world if you learn how to, right?
Yeah.
And you commit to it. But the next thing is to decide on it. So if we're only 99% committed, and I say this a lot, and I say to when I'm in an audience, I'll say, women, put up your hand if you're in a marriage or you're in a relationship, and everyone puts their hands up, and I said, if your man come home and he said, I'm 99% committed to you, I'm 99% sure that you're the woman of my dreams, let's get married. Keep up your hand if you get married. And they all go down.
Oh, yeah.
And they're like, and then you see the looks on men's faces like, what do you mean? And I'm like, it's just funny for a guy because we're like, isn't that enough?
That's a lot. That's a lot of me.
And then every single time I've said, what do you want, women? What do you want? And they're like, I want that 1% more. But we gave you fucking 99. What the fuck? And they're like, what 1%? And I'm like, so
right?
like your dreams and every single thing you want is the exact same.
Yeah, man.
And if you've ever been in a relationship where you're 99% committed, it's tension. It feels like work.
It's like put in or foot out.
Yeah, but it feels like work. But when you're in a relationship and it's both 100, it's so easy. So creating the results you want becomes effortless after you're 100% committed to it. Absolute balls deep into it. Because then what happens is energy, universe, whatever you want to call it, will also start to work for you too. Because you'll be like, because it shifts your vibration. Once you make the 100% full body commitment, it's a vibration shift, which is why I think it's a bit scary for some people to do because it's a paradigm shift. They're like, it's expansive. Expands your nervous system to a new level where it hasn't been before. And it's like, it feels a little bit uncomfortable. But when it feels uncomfortable, you've got to hold that tension.
Yeah.
Hold the tension because eventually the lag will catch up.
Yeah, so stay in it, right?
Yeah, and I realized this when I was in England, hanging around with all these huge people, and it was a paradigm shift for sure. And I was like shaking my head. I was walked out of the room talking with like Stephen Byler, Chris Williams, and all the rest. And I was like, what the fuck am I doing here? And I'm like, just me, this Aussie kid from the other side of the world. And I was like, but it makes sense because nervous system expansion. And the lag, it's like a rubber band pulling like this.
Yeah.
You can pull it to where you want, and it's gonna put tension on it.
Yeah.
But eventually, it'll catch up.
Yeah.
But it's a lag. So eventually, you put yourself around that. If you're around the fire long enough, the lag will catch up, and then it will feel normal. And that's the whole thing. What it's about. So the decision has to come. So see what you want, have the belief that it's attainable, and then if it's important enough to you, you can actually get it. Make the committed decision that it's possible.
Yeah.
Get into the environment with two types of people. First type of person with someone who already has it And the other person is people who are also committed to attaining it, because you can hold each other accountable. You share a collective belief, like I said.
Yeah.
Like there's been so many.
So you don't need to have everyone that's already done it. You want to have people that are on the same path.
Combination, yeah.
Yeah.
Because I think it, because you can not only, because sometimes like we've got a mastermind, and sometimes people ask me questions where I'm like, I forget how I solved that, because it was 5 years ago.
One of the other guys.
Yeah, I'm like, I'll tell you how I'll solve it now.
Yeah.
But like sometimes people, I'm like, fuck, that's such a, it's a problem I solved 5 years ago. But someone else in the mastermind might go, fuck, I went through it last month and this is what I did. And it's just really good, but it's accountability and it's a little bit of competition. It's be like, oh, but little Johnny's doing this as well. But it's the whole collective thing, and that's one thing I've always done. Always paid to be in groups like that with great mentorship and to get around people that are also hustling, because it's that hustle energy. Because I'll tell you also as well, I work not as hard now than I did 10 years ago. Like when I was in the job, having to get out, all right? So started my business at 21, financially free at 23.
Yeah.
I would work. I would get up at about 3:30 in the morning, be on the road at about 4:30, to get on the job site by 5:30, start work at 6. I would work 12 hours. I'd drive all the way back home, go to the gym, have dinner, get home on my laptop at about 8:30.
That's when the hustle starts.
And I would work until about 12.
Wow.
I'd sleep 3.5 hours.
Yeah, man.
I don't, but here's the thing, and I'll say, I probably wouldn't do that again.
Yeah.
But then on the other hand, I would, because it got me where I was.
That's the thing, right? You look at it now, it's like probably not healthy, but it did get you to where you are.
It's not healthy, right? However, I haven't met one fucking successful person who made that jump. Because to go out of your current life to a new life, you got to pick time from somewhere. I have not met one successful person who said, no, I meditated my way and I was very conscious of my nervous system and I relaxed and I rested. Bullshit.
You got to do this stuff.
Dude, I went for fucking years. I didn't know what a rest day was. But the beautiful thing was I was so young, I could do it. Now I really can't. Like, and I don't want to. Like, I notice when, if I like having a day off now.
Yeah.
I'm like, no, I love what I do, but I also like to just fucking chill and enjoy my life I've created. Like, I don't want to just work all the time.
Yeah, that's it.
But it's an absolute myth that people are out there who are like, oh, you gotta look after bullshit. This is contrary to many people's belief. But what got me to where I am is finding the edge of burning out.
Yeah.
Finding the fucking edge and tiptoeing just below it.
Yeah.
And because you're not gonna just be nice and calm the whole way. Like, come on. It's just not going to happen.
Well, you don't create financial freedom in age 23 by fucking tiptoeing on the
So
edge of portion.
I slept 3.5 hours a day.
Yeah.
But then one day a week I'd catch up, I'd get 7 hours.
Yeah.
And I just realized that's what my body could do. Yeah, I was absolutely cooked. But you know what? The pain. So here's the thing. There's, how much time we got? There's a story, right, of this little boy walking down the street. Little boy walking down the street. And he hears this noise from distance, and it's like,
Yeah.
he's like, the fuck is this? And he keeps walking, and it gets louder, and it's like,
Yeah.
and he's like, what is going on? And he walks all the way up to this guy's porch where it sounds like the noise is coming from. And he goes, and the noise is so loud now, it's like, and he goes up to the old man, he says, old man, what is this noise coming from your house? And the old man's like, well, come inside, let me show you, in a non-creepy way, right?
So say that now.
He walks inside and he goes out the back of his house and his dog is sitting in the corner out the back, crying and howling and howling. And the little boy says to the old man, what's wrong with your dog? And the man's like, well, he's sitting on a nail. And the little boy thinks to himself for a second, why doesn't he just get off the nail? And the old man says, because it doesn't hurt enough for him yet. And most people are just going through living a 7 out of 10 life.
Yeah.
Because 7 out of 10 is a good life. It's good.
It's mediocre.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's average.
Yeah.
But it's not bad.
Yeah.
Listen to the language Australians say, hey, you going, mate? Yeah, not bad.
Yeah.
Oh, well, that's good then. Hey,
Not great either.
if you're not bad, then that's good.
Yeah.
Like, it's a fucking badge of honor. So a lot of people
I
are
really
sitting,
do that.
they're sitting on a nail. They're sitting on a nail, but it doesn't hurt enough for them to actually get off the nail.
Yeah.
So when I say, yeah, I slept 3.5 hours a night, it was because I knew what my nail was. So what I did was I listed all the reasons, because two psychological driving forces in all human behavior. The first one is to seek pleasure. Everybody wants to attain the things on their vision board. Everyone wants the $1 million to travel, to have all these things. Who wouldn't want that? Everybody wants that. But at what degree will you do? What degree will will you give up things to get it?
Yeah, what's the sacrifice you're willing to make?
Yeah, because the second biggest driving force, right, which is actually about 11 times more powerful than the first, is the need to avoid pain. See,
Discomfort, right?
our brain is programmed to keep you alive. So anything that it thinks is a threat or painful, it'll avoid. But you just need to bring some things to its awareness sometimes. So it actually works in reverse order sometimes. Because if we think, oh, I want to build this business, then I say, cool, well, you're working 10 hours, 12 hours a day now. You've only got 3, and they say to me, oh, but Morgan, I've got to watch a movie at home, I've got to relax, I've got to meditate, I've got to do my nighttime routine and fucking all this shit. I don't have time to do it. I said, well, how bad do you want it then? I said, well, not that bad. Because now what they've done is perceived the pain of them doing the work to get them out of the job is far more than the pleasure that they would get.
Yeah.
So they say, well, it's more painful for me to do the work, so I won't do it, I'll stay here. But until we can flip that and use it to our power and go, okay, well, if I stay exactly where I am right now, what's the worst result of that in 10 years? If I'm exactly where I am right now in 10 years from now, in fact, I'll probably be worse because there's no straight lines in the universe. We're either going up or going down. Yeah. And if you're not making decisions now to better your life, then you're already making bad decisions and it will compound.
Yeah.
So if you're already not going to the gym, not building a business, not doing the things that progressively will push you towards your life, then you're already in a negative spiral. So in 10 years' time, it's probably going to be worse. And if that image doesn't shock the fuck out of you and scare you enough to take action now, then I don't know what will. And until you can know that the pain of inaction is far more than any pain of action, then you'll stay exactly where you are. So that's why I was like, I don't care about 3.5 hours sleep. I'm doing it.
Yeah.
Because every single day I got on the job site, I fucking hated it.
That was the driving force, right?
And I just knew, I was like, not much longer. Because I knew every day when I got home from work, and I didn't want to work. I smelled like shit. I was tired. My fingers hurt from holding nail guns and shit all day long. Hammer drill. I don't even know what they're called anymore. Just vibrating machinery shit.
Shit that's big and makes noise.
Yeah, right? And my body was just sore, and I'd get home and I'm like, it's the last thing I want to do. I want to relax. I'll relax when I quit my job. And I suffered. I put myself through some suffer. But at 23, I tell you what, when I told my boss, hey, I'm quitting my job, and I liked my new boss. So I said, hey, bro, I'm going to quit my job. I'm going to give you is 4 weeks okay? He's like, yeah, that's good. Cool. He's like, what are you going to do? I said, I'm moving to Mexico. He said, no, what are you doing? Moving to Mexico. I said, well, first I'm going to Europe. And he said, okay, wow, what's going on? I said, well, look, this is how much I made. That week I made about $4,000 in my network marketing business in the week part-time. Yeah. And I thought, well, if that's what I made part-time, what can I do full-time? And then it really hit me where I was like, I don't need to make all this money to quit my job. I'm like, I'm actually making enough money already. And that wasn't 4K every week, right? It was just a really good week. On average, maybe it was like a 1K every week, something, which was enough to be financially free.
Yeah.
And I worked out. I cleared all my debt.
Hang on, how many years ago is this, bro? Because
yeah, right.
It's a bit high now.
I was 23, so 7 years ago, right? But look, still, the average person could probably still be financially free on $1,000 a week. Most people just spend stupid shit. Like they spend money on stupid shit, right? They're in debt. So what I did, I cleared all my debt. I didn't have any debt, no car loan, no credit card. So the only thing I needed was to eat every week, spend money every month to keep my business going. I needed rent. Yeah. I needed a phone bill. So I literally worked out. I was like, dude, I need like $500 a week max. I think it was like 400. I was like, wow. Now I'm not balling, but I was like, what's more important to me? I want freedom.
Yeah.
I want freedom, and I'm gonna take time so I can build this business properly. So then at 23, I booked a one-way ticket to Mexico. After we went and did running at the bulls and stuff through Spain first. That was wild. And then we moved to Mexico. And I remember posting a picture on my Facebook saying, I'm 23 years old. I just retired. Retired. That was literally the language I used. Fucking stupid. But I was like, I just retired. Residual income, fucking some shit. But I tell you what, that post blew up, and it was the best post I've still done in my life because I knew 2 things has happened. One, I've actually made it. Yeah. Well, for the goal I wanted. And B, I could never go back.
Oh man, nothing to fall back on.
Because no backup plan. What I realized was I've got to make the committed decision.
Yeah.
So I was like, I'm not just going to go on an extended holiday and try. I'm not going to try. I'm like, I am doing this. And I tell you what, the first few months was the scariest part of my life.
Yeah.
Big identity shift. And I was like, can I make this happen? You know, and my income even went backwards because I feared it so much.
Yeah.
And then once I sort of figured it all out, we grew. 6 months later, built it into a 6-figure business. 6 months later after that, we're doing over 7 figures in sales every single year, customer base of 6,000 customers, 19 countries around the world. Then I turned into I was the top income earner in the whole company under the age of 25. And I did it all from my singlet, eating tacos, shot of tequila at 10 o'clock in the morning from fucking Mexico, you know? and
It can be done.
It was just a big testament that, you know, that was a really big fuck you to everyone who's like, you told me I couldn't do it. All the haters, because when you want to go start a business, especially network marketing, it's going to pull out all the people who tell you that you can't do it and why it's a scam. Why it's just like, well, I don't see you fucking doing anything in your life.
Pyramid scheme.
Yeah, I didn't even know I just went for it.
Yeah,
you know, and
it came back to the belief for you, right? It's like, I can
Yeah.
do this.
yeah, and so that was a pretty cool moment. I don't know why I was talking about that, but I was definitely going with something, wasn't I?
Go on, something like
The pain, the pleasure.
that. Yeah.
That's the thing, because I knew exactly where I was going.
Yeah.
It was Mexico. That's it. Mexico. And the pain of not doing it was far more than only sleeping 3.5 hours a day.
Yeah.
Because then when I moved to Mexico, dude, I slept in till fucking 8 o'clock every day. I went surfing every morning, and then I'd work like 8 hours a day because I could work 3 to 4 times as much as I used to work without having to be a psycho. I'm like work 8-9 hours a day now
Yeah.
instead of 20.
That's where most people struggle. Like you said, the pain isn't enough to get off an hour. So like, I'm happy staying my mediocre life because it's comfortable, but that comfort zone is a killer of dreams.
Yep.
That's what stops people from ever achieving what they want to achieve.
Yep.
So man, quite a story, brother. But before we finish up, what does the next 10 years hold for Morgan T. Nelson?
The next 10 years, well, you know, we're on a mission to impact, you know, the next 10 years, actually, we drew it up this weekend, impact 5 million people through our training and education, so either online or through our programs in person. That's a big thing. Definitely impact teaching people the shit that I should have learned earlier, because I could still be hanging in Mexico. That's the thing.
Yeah.
I could hang in Mexico. I could delete my social media and never talk to anyone ever again. And I'm good. But you know, I really just have this desire, this mission to sort of help and serve people, and tap into what my true north is, which is this teaching. I love it, right? So the big thing is that 5 million people, that's the big mission. We want to build the Dream Out Loud Institute into the #1 transformational education company here in Australia.
Yeah.
We're going to take it global, go into UK and America in the next 5 years.
Sick.
And then, you know, a lot of different branches. I want to do a lot of different branches of it, like branding specialists. Like we'll play like a book publishing, come out one day through that. We write a bunch of books. And what I really do want to start focusing on is actually more keynotes, because I really love like all the events that we run at my events, but I do want to start to broaden my impact by keynoting at more events. Like, so speaking at IFS was actually probably the first big main event I've done that was not my events apart from inside network marketing.
Yeah.
Like that was probably the first one where they're like, you know, we're going to bring you over to the UK. That was a pretty big deal. So
Huge,
off the
bro.
back of that, I definitely want to start lining up more of them. There's a lot of travel, a lot of fun.
Living the
Yeah,
dream
just
life, bro.
enjoying my life.
All the stuff you want to do. Well, man, where can people find you that want to get in contact with you, and what's the best way to do that?
Yeah, so best place is one of 2 places. My Instagram, Morgan T. Nelson. That's the best place. I do reply to most messages on there. I'm pretty active on that. My podcast, Dream Out Loud. We've had some amazing guests. We've had
I'll share all the links for that as well.
we've had some amazing guests. Les Brown, Dr. John DeMartini, Cohen Ray's. Like we've had some really cool people on there. They're definitely 2 main things. One thing that we just literally built last week. So you're the second person I've ever told about this on a thing. If people do want, we've actually just built a quiz. So what I've noticed is a lot of people sort of go through motions in life where they're a little stuck or I'm not sure what my next, like I want to get that next level in life. I'm not sure what, you know, they're procrastinating, self-doubting or self-sabotaging, one of these things. And I don't know why. They can go through my quiz now and it'll spit them out an answer of which one of the 4 pillars they need to focus on now. And then it gives them a customized training video from me to help them get into action for their specific thing. It's fucking sick. I've been building that for a while, so it's totally free. So I'll send you the link for that.
Yeah, man.
You can pop that in. People can go do that. It's pretty cool. So get some extra value there.
My man, appreciate you coming on, Morgan.
Mate, thanks for having me, brother.
And I look forward to seeing what's in the future for you, my man.
Beautiful. Thank you so much.